All right, first and foremost, I want to give all honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rakaha Kodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of GMS where I learn from. And I hope these shalom to the full leg preaching the word and truth, sincerity. To you ribs, to you sisters out there, learning silence and staying in order. I say to you all, shalom. All right, so I'm reading this article. I'm probably not even going to read where I'm getting it from because I think that like YouTube like has like red flags and antenna ears when it comes to this specific website. So you read on the top, right, in the red and the blue. That's where I'm getting it from. And look at the title, where I'm gonna say BG, right? The person's name is BG, as you can see on the title, right? BG unveils new poison particles, JABSs, right, for billions of cows. Because we know that he bought a bunch of cow farms, right? Not only did he buy a bunch of cow farms, he's gonna mass produce fake meats and things of that nature, right? So people to digest and things. So reading on, BG has unveiled new poison particles, JABSs, for billions of cows. A move that raises red flag about this relentless push for experimental poisons and their risk. This latest initiative targeting U.S. dairy cattle amid the spread of highly pathogenic, right? What you call those? The quack flus is part of a troubling pattern where BG funded research backed by institutions like and U.S. Department of Energy prioritizes profit over safety. But I will say that it's not just about profit. He's been caught speaking about how you say this, subtracting the numbers of populace.
That really grabbed me as urgent were issues related to population.
In 1998, Dr. Zabin became the founding director of the Bill and Melinda Gates Institute for Population Control.
Dr. Zabin became the founding director of the Bill and Melinda Gates Institute for Population Control. We see a lot of things that are going very well, things like reducing childhood death and First, we've got population. Now, the world today has 6.8 billion people. That's headed up to about 9 billion. Now, if we do a really great job on new vaccines, healthcare, reproductive health services, we could lower that by perhaps 10 or 15%.
Now, if we do a really great job on new vaccines, healthcare, reproductive health services, we could lower that by perhaps 10 or 15%.
The problem is that the population is growing the fastest where people are less able to deal with it. So it's in the very poorest places that you're going to have a tripling in population by 2050. And so their ability to feed, educate, provide jobs, stability, protect the environment in those locations mean they're faced with an almost impossible problem. Here we can see a chart that looks at the total world population over the last several hundred years. And at first glance, this is a bit scary. We go from less than 1 billion in 1800, and then 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7.4 billion where we are today is happening even faster. So Melinda and I wondered whether providing new medicines and keeping children alive, would that create more of a population problem?
And what the developing world does not need is more children.
And I think that was the biggest aha to Bill and me when we got into this work, is we asked ourselves, of course, the same hard-nosed question you'd ask, which is, if you get into this work and you start to save these children, will women just keep overpopulating the world? And thank goodness the converse is absolutely true.
This is a very important question to get right, because it was absolutely key for me. When our foundation first started up, it was focused on reproductive health. That was the main thing we did, because I thought, population growth in poor countries is the biggest problem they face. You've got to help mothers who want to limit family size have the tools and education to do that. And that's the only thing that really counts. Is spending $1 million on that last 3 months of life for that patient, would it be better not to lay off those 10 teachers and to make that trade-off in medical costs? But that's called the death panel, and you're not supposed to have that discussion.
Right, you saw in the video, he said that people in poor countries who have a lot of populace are not equipped to help with environmental development, as if the powers that be have saved, the trees and the waters and things of that nature. We seem the exact opposite, where the ruling class is poisoning the waters, right? And all the natives, aka poor people, left all that alone, man, and just, it was a lot cleaner when there was native people just in their own respected areas, right? And then comes this guy, El Diablo, right? And inserts himself in all fashions of life, right? This people are a cancer, man. He's definitely a physician of no value, right? The Job 13. Like, we're gonna see a lot, man. A lot of this, man. That's why scriptures say that, I am the Lord thy God, I change not, so, Jacob is not consumed, right? Paraphrasing, but the Lord said that he would shorten the days for the elect's sake, man, because if we continue on this path, man, like, the Lord's protecting his people, but it's going to come to a time where, like, he's going to have to intercede, right? Because this man will go to the ends of the earth to destroy the people, even his own, right? He who is evil to himself, to whom he will be good to. Right? This man went into hurt his own people. Crosshair, just to, further his agenda. Man, this is getting really bad, man. All right, this is the study here on the calves they did, right? And how they've been experimenting with them for a while now. One thing he said was that, helping these poor countries with reproduction of the mothers to lower childbirth so that, population don't go too fast. But this has been going on even, I would say, before the 80s, because, me, being Ephraim and coming from where I came from in my island, my mother, when she had my brother, they offered her or coerced her to tie her tubes, right? Knowing that Ephraim has many children. My mother having, 16 brothers and sisters, and my father having 10 brothers and sisters. Ephraim is pertaining to Genesis 49 is a fruitful bow, right? Whose branches extend over the well, right? That means that there are more Puerto Ricans overpopulating outside of the, the well or the island where they were designated to, that they were really fruitful, right? They come from Joseph, right? And My mother was coerced to tie her tubes so she could only have 2 kids, so she could never have no more. You know, if that wouldn't have happened, who knows? I would have had, 3, 4 more brothers. But yeah, man, these plans have been, go back all the way down to Margaret Sanger and look her up. It's the Planned Parenthood founder who targeted Southern Kingdom. But anyways, man, I pray this lesson was edifying. I want to give all honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'Hashem Yahushai, Ba'Hashem Rakaha Kodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of GMS who I learned from. Shalom to the hopeful elect, preaching his word in truth, sincerity. To you ribs, to you sisters out there learning in silence and staying in order. I say to you all, Shalom.